This is the audio recording for English for Today, an intermediate English language course for Afghanistan. The recording accompanies a book available from the British Council and the BBC. We hope you enjoy your studies and wish you every success. English for Today, Intermediate English for Afghanistan. Cassette, Side 1. Unit 1A, Getting the Job, the Interviewer. Exercise 4, Listening and Reading. Khalid is talking to a radio interviewer called Sarah. He is giving advice about job interviews. Listen.
Could you give us some advice on improving interview performance?
Certainly, I am quite an expert in this field. First of all, it is important to prepare properly for the interview. You should find out some information about the company or organization. You should find out exactly what the job involves. Then, you should decide why the job is a good one for you, or indeed why you are good for the job.
Okay, is there any other preparation I should do?
Well, of course, you should check that you know where the company building is. Also, you should make sure that you have got some smart clothes to wear. You shouldn't go to an interview in your casual clothes, at least not if I'm an interviewer.
I see. And during the interview, what should the interviewee do?
It is important that you are calm and confident. You should answer questions clearly and honestly. It is a good idea to answer positively and to look at the interviewer. You shouldn't look at your shoes when you answer a question.
Yes, that's obvious, really.
It is obvious, but let me tell you that it is a very common mistake.
Exercise 8. Afghan Voices. These three people are talking about learning English and why it is important in today's Afghanistan. Listen.
My name is Khaled. I work at the internet cafe, and my job is in the internet, where we have customers using the internet.
I'm Helena Bahar. I have worked for many NGOs, UN offices, and definitely I used lots of English.
My name is Jamshed and I'm from Afghanistan. I used to be a sales executive. I used English a lot because we had a lot of foreign customers. Besides speaking, we had to translate details which were provided in Dari and Pashto into English, or from English into Dari to Pashto.
Unit 1B, Getting the Job, the Interview. Exercise 3, Listening and Reading. Khalid is interviewing Mackay for a job as an office assistant. Listen.
Have you worked in a large office before?
Yes, I have. I have worked in several offices. The largest one was with a printing company. There were 20 people working in that one.
That is quite large. When did you work there? Did you enjoy it?
Oh, yes, very much. I worked there last year. I liked working with so many colleagues, and it was always busy.
I see. From your application, I see that you can use a computer. Have you used word processing software before?
Yes, I have. I used several programs when I was working for the printing company.
What about spreadsheets? Have you used a spreadsheet before?
A spreadsheet? No, I haven't. But I learn programs very quickly.
Well, we can provide some training. I'd like to ask about your work in offices. Have you prepared reports for senior managers before?
No, I haven't. My work has usually involved administration or dealing with customers.
I see. Could you tell me a little more about...
Exercise 7. Afghan Voices. Farida works in a human resources department for the UN. She is explaining the recruitment procedure to her colleague Shireen. Listen.
Come in, please.
Good morning.
Good morning, Shane. How are you
Nice to
today?
see you. Fine, thank you.
Yes, sir.
I need some information about recruitment.
Recruitment of national staff?
Yes, of course.
You want to know about the procedure?
It will be kind of you if you give me information
Well,
about.
if you want to recruit someone in your section as a national staff, you need to give us the job description, so I'll prepare vacancy announcement for that position. We'll collect applications from people who are interested for that job. We'll give them a time for interview. We'll interview them. Whoever will be selected for the post, we'll open them a personal file with all their documents, whatever they have, like ID cards, their CVs, resumes, or certificates, whatever they have. Then we can issue a contract for him or her to come and join us.
Unit 2A. Working Life. In the Office. Exercise 3. Listening and Reading. Mackay has started working in a busy UN office. The senior manager introduces her to the international staff. Listen.
Mackay,
Yes?
could you print a copy of the standard order form for me?
Yes, of course. Excuse me, Dominic. Would you mind showing me the folder with the order forms?
Of course not. Let's see. Open the admin folder on the C drive, then click there, and there it is.
Okay, thank you. Excuse me, here's a copy of the order form. Would you like me to make some photocopies for you?
No, thank you. That's okay. I just need a master copy for my file. Mackay, you're still here. I think you should go home now. It's getting late.
I know, I just wanted to read any new emails.
You can't do any more work tonight. Anyway, I have to turn the generator off.
Oh yes, of course. It is time to go then.
Exercise 7. Afghan Voices. Farida works in a UN office. She is describing what she does on a typical day. Listen.
Well, of course, the typical days we have here, like especially myself, I have to deal with all my colleagues, especially the international colleagues, who needs information about their personal related things, or about their leaves, about their entitlements, and about the recruitment of the national staff. So I have to deal with them, and of course I do need to speak with them in English because they don't understand my own language. So for English, it's very important for me this season, in this part of my job.
Unit 2B. Working Life. The Meeting. Exercise 3. Listening and Reading. At the UN office, the senior manager wants to change working practices. As usual in an office, not everyone agrees with the changes. Listen.
Thank you all for coming to the meeting. I want to suggest some changes to the way we run the office. Currently, we ask Mackay to do all the photocopying, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Well, I think we should all do our own photocopying so that Mackay can work without interruptions on a new report.
What's the report about, Mackay?
It's about the refugee situation in this area.
We need the report to decide how much money we need for next year. In order to prepare it quickly, it's important that Mackay works without interruptions. So, do you all agree that we do our own photocopying?
Yeah, it's fine.
Sure.
Actually, I'm not so sure that it is a good idea. I asked Mackay to do my photocopying so that I can do my work efficiently. My work is important too. I need to be available all the time in order to deal with phone calls. I need to be at my desk to answer the phone.
Yes, that's true, Dominique. Perhaps we should buy an answering machine so that it won't matter when you're away from your desk.
An answering machine?
Exercise 7. Afghan Voices. Helena is a coordinator in the English Resource Centre in Kabul University. She is talking about her work. Listen.
In ERC, I'm working as a coordinator. What I do is looking after accounting, managing the whole ERC, especially when my boss is not here. I have to give him feedback, what's going on, what's going to happen. So I have got to look after all these issues and also to manage with other ministries, for example, with the Ministry of Higher Education, have to have lots of meetings with them to tell the new situation, since they're very interested in our center, because more students are coming here for research, for computer work, and for conferences and workshops. So I am just like coordinating this center.
Story 1. The Tale of the Versatile Tie. Rasul straightened his tie and his mother patted him on the shoulder. "It is important to look smart. You should make a good impression," she said. "Don't let your clothes get dirty." He smiled and waved goodbye. He was nervous ahead of his first interview with the UN. His little brother and sister came round the corner. They were covered in dust and dirt from playing outside. "Rasul, a hug before you go," they shouted. Rasul saw their dirty hands and thought of his clean suit. "No, that is a silly, childish thing. Go indoors now." Freshta and Masood stopped still and looked about to cry. Rasul turned and left the yard. He was glad he had saved his suit. Rasul turned to check his brother and sister were not following him. Because he was looking behind, he didn't see the European man with red hair, who was standing by the road holding a smart briefcase. Rasul walked straight into him and knocked him over. The man's briefcase landed in the road. "Oh my goodness! I'm so sorry," said Rasul. "Don't worry. Where's my case?" asked the European man. They both looked into the road just as a taxi drove past. Crack! Crunch! "No!" they cried together. The taxi had run over the briefcase and broken the lock. The papers began to fly on the wind. Rasul and the man gathered the papers, but the briefcase would not lock shut. "What am I going to do? I have such a busy day today," said the European man. Rasul felt very guilty. His vanity about his suit had led to this incident. "Here, take my tie. I think you should use it to hold your briefcase together," he said. "Oh no, I couldn't," replied the man. Rasul thought quickly. "My father has a tie shop. Please, take my tie." The man accepted Rasul's kind offer and fixed his briefcase with the tie. "Thank you. I mustn't lose any of these papers. Thank you," said the man. "Not at all. It was my fault. I am sorry," said Rasul. Rasul walked sadly to his interview. He had no money to buy a new tie. Now he would not look smart. Now he would make a bad impression. Outside the office, he still could not cheer up. A voice called him to come in. Rasul entered the room slowly. There, behind the desk, was the European man with red hair. On the desk, There was a once smart but now broken briefcase, which was held together by a tie. The two men looked at each other and smiled broadly. The European man spoke first. "Sit down. Now tell me, when can you start?" Unit 3A. Transport and Infrastructure. On the Road. Exercise 3. Listening and Reading. Asil works for the Ministry of Public Works. Sam is a foreign road building contractor. They are discussing the priorities for the local road network, and there are 3 important jobs that need doing. Listen.
So, Azil, what will happen if we do these jobs? How will things improve locally?
At the moment, there are many delays with the delivery of goods from Kabul. If we repair the bridge, we'll reduce the delays which are caused by traffic waiting to use the ferry.
Yes, but if we cover the main highway with asphalt, we'll also reduce delays. Are the delays a problem at the moment?
Yes, they are. The delays mean that all our other reconstruction work is slow.
And what about the village roads?
If we build those roads, we'll be able to deliver medical supply to the villagers more easily. If we wait to do this work, the villagers won't get the supplies they need, especially in winter.
But we need good main roads to get all these things from Kabul, don't we?
Yes, that's true. Perhaps we should repair the bridge first and then think about the village roads.
I agree, and we should leave the asphalt work until last.
Exercise 7. Afghan Voices. Shafiqullah is talking about travelling all over Afghanistan for his job. Listen.
In some provinces which are nearby, which are located near Kabul, we travel by car, by the office car or by local taxi or local buses. For distant provinces like Herat or Kandahar, we travel by air. UN has provided this facility to all of NGOs, to all of UN agencies who are working for the reconstruction of Afghanistan. Our project is also registered with the UN House, so we travel by UN House planes in different provinces. I enjoy my work because from the beginning, when I started working, when it became my responsibility to work and gain something for my family, I enjoy this work. I enjoy traveling to different provinces of Afghanistan. It is really wonderful. I enjoy it.
Unit 3B. Transport and Infrastructure. Up, up and away. Exercise 2. Listening and Reading. Hanif works in an airline booking office. A British journalist, Megan Jones, calls to make a booking. Unfortunately, the telephone line is not clear. Listen.
Hello, the Ariana Abon Hawaii Shirkat.
Hello, do you speak English?
Yes, I do. How can I help?
I'd like to book 2 tickets from Kabul to Dubai to fly on Wednesday next week.
I'm sorry, could you say that again? A flight to where?
To Dubai.
Dubai? Okay. And when do you want to fly?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. What did you say?
When do you want to fly?
Next Wednesday.
Right. So what you want is 2 tickets to Dubai, traveling next Wednesday.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Let me see. One moment, please. Oh, I'm afraid we are fully booked on that day.
I'm sorry. Did you say we aren't fully booked?
No, we are fully booked.
Sorry? What was that? I can't hear you. Hello? Hello?
Exercise 5. Afghan Voices. This is a conversation in an airline booking office in Kabul. Martin is trying to arrange a flight to Faizabad. Listen.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Yes, may I help you, please?
Yes, I would like to book a flight to Faizabad.
Okay. On which day you are going to fly to Faizabad?
Well, what are the exact days of your flights?
We fly to Faizabad Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays.
Would tomorrow be possible? Do you have seats tomorrow?
No, I'm sorry. We have no vacancy for tomorrow flight. But we can book you for the next flight, which is the day after tomorrow.
Oh, but it's really important that I fly tomorrow. So, do you have a waiting list, maybe?
Yeah, we can accept your booking on standby basis. I mean, if someone does not show up at the airport, so you will have the priority to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So, what do you need of me? What kind
Okay. You need to fill out the travel request form, this one.
Okay.
And then sign it by your organization administrator or stamp it.
Yes.
And then bring it for payment.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it.
Okay. It's 10 o'clock now. When do you need it for me to be able to travel, if possible, tomorrow?
Yeah, I think it's it's very late, but you have to complete it as early as possible. So complete it before 2 o'clock today, because we close the manifest at 2, and after that. So, I mean, you have to complete it by 2 o'clock.
Okay, yeah. I'll do my best. Thank you.
Okay, that's all right. Thank you.
Unit 4A. Refugees, IDPs and Housing. Returning Home. Exercise 4. Listening and Reading. Majid Nader is an IDP representative visiting northwest Afghanistan. He is meeting a British Reconstruction Team officer, David Wilkes, to discuss the situation for people returning home. Listen.
Could you tell us how the reconstruction work is going at the moment?
Well, we've reconnected the water supply for all the villages and towns. This means that daily life has really improved, but there are still many people without homes. However, now we've finished work on the water supply, we can help rebuild their homes. Because of this, we think returnees will only have to wait 2 months for a house.
That's all good news. Is it safe in the area now?
Well, there are still some security concerns. Because of this, we're asking all returnees to register with us. If they do this, they can get information about mines and other security issues. Do you have any suggestions?
We understand this area needs professional workers, especially teachers.
Absolutely, yes.
Well, we recommend that you provide housing immediately for such people. This would mean that teachers could start work immediately and they would be happier to return. Then the schools would have teachers, and because of that, more people would return to the area.
Oh, yes. That's a really sensible suggestion.
Oh, thank you.
Exercise 7. Afghan Voices. Farida is talking about where she learnt English. Listen.
Well, I started learning English while I was in Pakistan. When I finished my high school graduations, I did the graduations in Peshawar and moved back to Islamabad. I started learning English as a second language in ESL course, which was through Canadian people for Afghan refugees in Islamabad. I started with them from the beginner section in 1992, and that had 7 levels, and I successfully finished that in 1994, and in 1995 I got my job.
Unit 4B, Refugees, IDPs and Housing, Rebuilding. Exercise 2, Listening and Reading. Jalil has returned from Pakistan to his hometown. Now he is meeting the local UNHCR representative, Marie, to talk about what he needs. Listen.
Well, Jalil, tell me about your current situation. What do you have and what do you need?
Well, I have returned with my family, but our house was destroyed in the war. I want to rebuild my house, but we also need things to live now.
Okay, we can provide many things. Do you need a tent?
No, we don't. We have a small building to live in, but we need a stove and some charcoal.
So how much charcoal do you think you need?
Can we have 4 bags now?
That's fine. So what about building materials? How many roof beams and how many window frames do you need?
I would like 8 roof beams and 5 window frames. Thank you.
Okay, we can also provide cash grants to pay for labor. How much do you think you need?
I'm not sure. I don't know how much we need.
Right. Shall we discuss your plans a little more and perhaps we can work out how much you need for the job?
Thank you. I really need help with this. Thank you.
Exercise 6, Afghan Voices. Habib goes to the company stockroom to order some supplies. He is talking to Farshad about what he wants. Listen.
Oh, Farshad, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thanks. How about you?
Oh, that's okay. I'm right. Farshad, I need some stationery, my dear. I need some tissue paper, some batteries for my mini disc, and 2 or 3. Or if you can issue me 4 of these notepads and some different colors of pens and pencils. Is it possible for you?
Yeah, it's possible, but first you should fill this request form.
So could you please fill it for me? I will tell you the items. Could you please put the items here?
Okay.
Okay, write it down. 10 ball pens, different colors.
Okay.
4 notepads.
Okay.
2 boxes of tissue paper. No, 4.
Okay.
4. 5 pairs of these battery cells.
Okay.
Okay, I think for the time being it's enough. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Okay,
It's
thank
okay?
you, Farshad.
Okay, you should sign here.
Okay. Give me the pen. You have to give me the pen, I think. Okay, see you.
Okay, see you, bye.
Story 2, A Sweet Surprise.
Abdurrahman and his family had been living in a refugee camp for over 5 years when it was closed and emptied by the officials. Suddenly they were homeless and life became very difficult. One day, Abdurrahman suggested returning to their homeland. "Let's go back to our own country," he said. Unfortunately, the rest of the family disagreed, saying, "Well, there is nothing left in that country now. Our house is in ruins, so why bother?" Despite Abdurrahman's long arguments, the family did not agree with him. Finally, they rented a house in the city. Everyone was happy, except for Abdurrahman, who was worried about the high rent he had to pay. Abdurrahman decided to go to his country in order to find a job for himself. He was sad to leave his family, But he felt he had no choice. After a long journey and some hard times, he finally got a job with a good salary. The good salary still only meant that he would be able to visit his family once a month. However, he remained hopeful. He said to himself, "It will be hard at first, but I can not only work here, I can also supervise the rebuilding of my house. I will make it a beautiful house, and then I will surprise my family. I am sure they will like it." Months passed, and changes happened. Millions of refugees returned to their homeland, and there was more hope for a better future in the country. However, Abdurrahman was still a worried man. He thought his family would never want to return home. At last the house was ready. Abdurrahman was so excited, he took some pictures of the house and rushed to find his family, who were so very far away. He was pleased and was laughing in his heart. After many delays on his journey, Abdurrahman finally reached the rented house. He called out the names of his loved ones. There was silence. The house was completely empty. Now his heart stopped laughing. Abdurrahman had wanted to take a sweet surprise to his family, only to find that they had disappeared. He was shocked and worried. He found a neighbor and, with fear in his heart, asked him about his lost family. The neighbor was surprised to see Abdurrahman and told him, "After the return of the refugees, your family felt lonely. They missed you. So, this morning, they returned to your own homeland, saying, 'We will surprise our father.'" The neighbor had barely finished speaking before Abdurrahman started to run to the bus station. Once again, his heart was laughing. He was extremely happy, and he hurried so as to not miss his own sweet surprise.